Tonight, Oregon is on the verge of making history and adopting a cap-and-trade program.
The complex bill just passed the House yesterday now goes before the Senate. This is the kind of bill that will have wide-reaching impact across every corner of the state. KGW's environmental reporter Keely Chalmers live for us in downtown Portland to try and break it all down for us. Keely.
Yeah, this basically means if you pollute a lot, you're going to have to pay a lot or reduce your emissions. Now, if this bill passes, Oregon would become only the second state after California to adopt a cap-and-trade program. So this is no doubt a big deal that's stirring a pretty big debate. Researchers will tell you we are already feeling the impact of climate change in Oregon. Record warm years, low snowpack and river levels, and of course there are the wildfires. Most will agree something needs to be done. But is a cap-and-trade program the answer? That is where opinions differ.
Climate change is here. It's happening, and it is costing our state and the country and the planet, for that matter, hundreds of millions of dollars a year.
There's no question the climate's changing. We're certainly not denying that. We just don't feel like the bill's quite ready.
In a nutshell, here's how a cap-and-trade program would work. In the beginning, the largest polluters in Oregon, anyone releasing over 25,000 tons of greenhouse gases a year, would be required to pay for each ton of gas they produce. Right now, that's about 100 companies. But over time, that number will grow as that 25,000-ton cap is gradually reduced. The money would pay for a transition to cleaner energy. If approved, all this would begin in 2021, with the ultimate goal of reducing greenhouse gas emissions to 80% below 1990 levels by the year 2050. And by auctioning off polluting permits, the program would raise an estimated $550 million in just the first year.
We will be providing hundreds of millions of dollars a year into our state economy that will be used for energy savings, renewable energy.
However, opponents say the bill will do little to help the global climate while driving business out of the state.
If you could shut down all emissions in the state of Oregon, and you really couldn't measure that on a world scale as far as carbon emissions.
They say if the bill is passed, gas prices will rise between 16 and 21 cents a gallon. Supporters say we need to keep in mind by the year 2050, transportation will likely be electric, and combustion engines a thing of the past. Now again, the bill passed the House yesterday. It is scheduled to go before the Senate this Thursday. And if it passes there, Governor Brown has said she will sign it. Back to you.
Keely, thank you. We know you'll keep an eye on it for us. We want to tell you about the teenager accused of shooting and killing two people at two different locations in less than 2 days. Appeared in court this afternoon, and right now 19-year-old Michael Ramirez is facing murder charges. KGW's Lindsay Nadrich joins us now with the latest on this one. Lindsay?
A woman who knew one of the shooting victims told me this was hard on her neighborhood and something many are still dealing with. She says they want answers police aren't willing to give us right now.
This is 19-year-old Michael Ramirez in court this afternoon. It was a quick hearing. He entered a plea of not guilty, and his next court date was set for July. The first shooting he's accused of happened on May 24th in the Lentz neighborhood at Southeast 103rd and Reedway Street. 44-year-old Sergei Peshkov was found dead in the front yard of a home. Janice Martin heard the gunshots.
It was about 2 o'clock and I woke up to gunshot. It was bam, 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 and a slight pause, and then 2 more is what I remember hearing.
She says her son came outside in the middle of the night, but police didn't find Sergei until 7:30 in the morning.
It all was just awful, awful. And when we found out it was Sergei, we were just all upset all over again.
There's now a memorial for him on the sidewalk where neighbors continue to bring flowers and light candles to remember him.
He was a kind man. He was just kind, very helpful.
The second shooting happened the next day on May 25th. 18-year-old Lorenzo Gordon was found dead outside an apartment building near Southeast Stark and 162nd. Police are not saying how Ramirez is connected to either victim or how police figured out he was a suspect. In Sergei's case, though, Janice thinks it was random.
I think so. Who's going to kill Sergei? Nobody. I think they were out at night and Sergei was taking a walk, and that's it.
Ramirez's family members were in the courtroom today. On the way out, his dad told us, quote, he's innocent, no comment. We'll continue to follow this case and let you know when we get more information. Back to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. And now to a follow-up to a KGW investigation into methamphetamine. A new report shows it's back and more lethal than ever.
Oregon has actually seen a surge in meth-related deaths over the past few years. KGW's investigative reporter Kyle Aboshi has been tracking this drug trade, and you're seeing apparently a lot of this is coming across the border from Mexico.
Indeed, and lately heroin has been getting the headlines, but drug cops warn, don't be distracted. Meth is a huge problem in Oregon. It's cheap, so there's more of it on the street. More people are using it, and more of them are dying.
A decade ago, Oregon cracked down on methamphetamine, shutting down labs by restricting a key ingredient. But now, the drug has come back with a vengeance. Today's meth, smuggled from Mexico, is purer, cheaper, and more lethal than ever. A new report from the Oregon-Idaho High-Intensity Drug Trafficking Area Program shows a surge in meth-related deaths in Oregon. A KGW investigation found much of that meth is being smuggled across the southwest border, then shipped north by Mexican drug cartels. Interstate 5 has become a pipeline for drug traffickers. Last year, police seized 1,700 pounds of crystal meth all across Oregon and Idaho. That's 11 times more than the quantity seized in 2008. Often, police find small amounts like this. The bigger shipments are often hidden, say police. Drug traffickers use hidden compartments like this one to hide drugs or cash.
The report shows Oregon has also seen an uptick in fentanyl deaths. There were 76 last year. That's more than double from 2 years ago. But experts say it's still much lower level than elsewhere around the country. Back to you.
All right, Kyle. Thank you. Nearly 7% of Americans already use CBD products, and that number is set to grow.
Industry insiders predict the CBD market could total $16 billion by 2025. And that boom has made hemp a lucrative crop for farmers.
KGW's Brittany Falkers learned Oregon farmers are planting new hemp fields now, trying to capitalize on growing demand.
Before it gets to your tincture, balm, cup of coffee, or craft cocktail, CBD starts here, in the soil.
It's cannabis, but with low THC.
And the Oregon fields dedicated to hemp are on the rise. The Oregon Department of Agriculture says the state has licensed 1,342 growers to plant 46,219 acres of hemp this year. That's nearly 6 times more than the 7,808 acres planted in 2018.
We are definitely one of the leaders. We do have an amazing climate for cannabis, but we also have a knowledgeable workforce because it's been in the culture for so long.
Anna Simons is the educational director with East Fork Cultivars, an organic cannabis and hemp farmer growing CBD-rich products in Southern Oregon.
Your source really matters. The way the plant is cultivated, we grow everything organically and beyond organically.
The 2018 Farm Bill opened the floodgates for hemp-derived products by legalizing the production of hemp as an agricultural commodity while removing it from a list of controlled substances. And that gave CBD products room to bloom.
Hemp farmers got access to a lot of traditional agricultural tools that we didn't have before. Things like loans and USDA certification and crop insurance, so really a big deal.
Simon says the boom of CBD has expanded their mission into what's called the craft hemp industry.
Oregon has such a strong affinity for craft products, whether that's craft beers or wine or distilleries or coffee roasting, all those things. And so with hemp, we're seeing the same thing where we're really breeding and producing some very high quality hemp that is probably pretty special to our region.
To foster that craft industry, East Fork Cultivars are partnering with smaller farms like Sauvie Island growers. For more than 2 decades, this farm on Sauvie Island has provided Portland with fresh, organic food. Now, among the rows of greens and vegetables is their first acre of hemp.
We make sure to partner with companies who share our values around quality and ethics, to be environmentally responsible.
These nurtured little seedlings have made their way out of the greenhouse and into the dirt. It's part of East Fork Cultivar's Organic Hemp Farm Network pilot program.
And we're banding together to grow at a scale that can compete with the larger corporately owned farms.
These farmers won't be alone on the cash crop journey. Oregon State University recently launched the Global Hemp Innovation Center.
Back in the 1880s till the 1930s, we were the national center for hemp. This is kind of coming back home for us to re-exert ourselves as the national leader in hemp research.
The center will serve as a research hub, connecting a range of departments within the university, such as food innovation, public health, public policy, and pharmacy.
It's a commodity that has a lot of potential, not just in some of the pharmaceutical aspects that you hear about CBD, but it's got a lot of potential benefits from fiber, but also nutritional quality of the seed.
And Oregon is part of what's often referred to as the Emerald Region, along the 45th parallel, ideal for growing hemp.
We're the nation's greenhouse. So really we are leaders in, and not just production, but quality too. And I think we'll see more and more of that as this nationwide trade expands.
With the popularity of CBD and other hemp-derived products, the cannabis industry here in Oregon has a huge potential ahead outside of dispensaries. And while Simons sees the continued corporatization of hemp farming, especially when it comes to CBD, she says there will be room for the niche market of craft growers.
It will be like eventually just any other agricultural crop. But what we hope as craft producers and people who care deeply about the genetics and the history and culture of the plant, we believe there will always.
Now, as I mentioned, this is the first hemp crop for the Sauvie Island growers, and I was just out on the farm this afternoon where they were putting the plants in the soil for the very first time. The farmers were very excited.
It was an interesting look to kind of get behind the scenes there and see the way it's run. But, you know, this place has been around for 20 years. Why do they need to bring in other growers? They clearly know their way around agriculture.
Yeah, and of course each crop is different in planting, but really because it's becoming so popular, farmers are doing this for the first time, many of them just shooting from the hip, trying whatever sticks kind of thing. So this partnership allows them to share insights as well as resources. Those are things like seeds and connections to other companies that can help them when it comes time to harvest, when it comes to make that hemp into CBD. And East Fork Cultivars, this is pretty cool. They do offer free classes to the public to help educate people about CBD, but they're also this July going to start offering online classes for free this July, and they're calling them CBD Certified Live. So you can check that out. We'll have links online.
We're certainly on to something and expand that market. Will, we were talking earlier about how my dad, parents, grandparents are talking about using CBD oil. I know it's gone mainstream when my dad was talking about it.
My family too. It's not going anywhere. It's just going to keep on growing.
Well, wish them good luck. Thank you very much, Britt.